On behalf of Vivekananda Study Circle, I welcome you all. We will start this auspicious evening with chanting of Shanti Mantras. I request you all to stand.
सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहे तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहे। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतं गमय। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
Swami Vivekananda once says, take one idea, make that one idea your life, think of it, dream of it, live on that idea, let the brain, muscles, nerves, every part of body be full of that idea and just leave every other idea alone. This is way to success. This is the way to excellence. Our constitutions make this point quite explicit for us in one of the fundamental duties, that to strive towards excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activity, so that the nation constantly rises to higher levels of endurance and achievement. Excellence. What is excellence? What is the state of mind which reflects the excellence? There are such queries which we are looking for answered. Today we are honored to have among us Mrs. Vijayanthi Jagannathan for enlightening us on today's topic, self-excellence. I request our volunteer Subhas to present a bouquet as a welcome token of VSC. Mrs. Vijayanthi Jagannathan wants to introduce herself, and she feels narrates her life of journey itself is a proven discovery and excellence in self. We are happy to welcome you, ma'am, with great affection and honor, and would like to invite you to speak on today's topic, self-excellence.
Thank you. I start with the mic, but then if I start moving, forgive me because I have a big throat. So I think you can hear me. Good evening. What is this? Good evening? That's a nice way to start an evening after a hot evening outside. As you all know, I'm Vijayanthi Jagannathan. Now I am what is called a soft skills trainer. Because today the world over, whether you are selling software, soft drinks or making chapatis at home, you need to have the skill and the will to do things. So I'm basically attitude behavioral trainer in this profession for the last 9 years. I began my career as a lecturer. I studied, born and brought up in Chennai, studied in Chennai, did my graduation in a very famous women's college called Stella Maris College here, and then went on to do my MA in the university and became a lecturer immediately after finishing my post-graduation because I love teaching. When excellence starts when you discover your passion. I'm narrating my journey, and as we narrate our journey, let's discover the concept of excellence, what it comes. Excellence is not one, rigidly defined entity. At some point it's a capability. At some point it's an attitude. At some point it also becomes a skill. So let's look at it and discover the concept of self-excellence as we move on our journey. So I took up my profession, teaching profession, because I loved it. I loved to be a teacher. I was teaching 2 years, I taught there, and the second year I got married and my husband was posted in Mumbai. So I resigned my job and went to Mumbai, and there I taught in St. Xavier's College, Mumbai, which is the parallel institution of Lilo College here. And I was also an MPhil student with the Tata Institute of Social Science Research, pursuing my MPhil on the topic of women and change. While I was teaching there, my husband decided to move to Delhi. So like a true Bharatiya Nari, I resigned my job, went to Delhi. And when I went to Delhi, I thought, let me find out where I can fit my profession and my passion together. So I got a job as an academic associate with the Indira Gandhi National Open University. Indira Gandhi National Open University, when there are temporary vacancies, they call it an academic associate. When they make it permanent, you become a lecturer. So I went into a temporary vacancy called academic associate, where I had to develop modules for their books for distance education, meet counselors, find out, clarify their doubts, because they were teaching somebody else's notes or somebody else's textbooks, how to give examples and all that. While doing that, my husband again decided, let me move to Chennai. So prompt, the Nari in me went behind. And then when I came to Chennai, I took a 6 years gap in my work. Very conscious reasons for my, I feel always one has to be clear about the choices one makes in life. And choices is what makes you think you're excellent or not excellent, because choices cannot be defined all the time by others. What is available, what you think you can get is very important before you decide your path. So I decided 6 years, I become a total, today the stylish word is homemaker, not housewife. So I became a very happy homemaker, looking after my kids, running after all the usual things that a family demands. Then after 6.5 years, when you think your child goes to a full-time school, suddenly their restlessness in you starts. Now what time is so much in my hands, so what do I do? So I decided, let me go back to some job. A job can never be permanent. It's only a temporary undertaking which you take because you get paid for your time and you also feel you are being fruitfully and economically occupied for some period of time. So I didn't know what career I wanted. Teaching would have been difficult in Chennai because sociology as a subject was not very popular in Chennai. So it was not offered in many colleges, and with a 6-year gap, I don't think I had updated myself. So I thought I wouldn't do justice to that as a teacher. So somebody told me become a trainer. So I thought it was the next easiest thing on life. What with my baggage of band of Stella Maris College, St. Xavier's College, like your IIT is a big brand equity image. Today, whether they like to be an engineer or not, if they say they've come out from IIT, they look at, even from the guru market to the professional market, everybody looks at you with a lot of admiration. Oh, you're from Anna University, you're one of those colleges. Oh, I see. There's a different value attached to it. So you become islands of excellence. So I thought with all my baggages of Stella Maris College and St. Xavier's College and Indira Gandhi, I would just very easily fit into the trainer's role, but I was in for a big shock. When I applied for a job as a HR training officer, when I attended the interview, the VP HR asked me 3 questions. Vijayanthi, are you doing your MBA? I said no. Which was a good reminder that if you want to rise up in any organization or enter into any organization, a qualification is the first passport. And I don't have that passport to get into this particular profession. Second, he asked me, have you worked even one day in an organization? I said, no. I worked only in colleges. My second is experience is very important for you to really know what you want or what you are in for. The third, he asked me, have you seen anybody doing a training program for any organization in your life? I said, no. That means exposure is very important for you to get. And simple answer, he told me, go. So there was a no and a go. I came back home quite disappointed because I felt I had all these feelings of pride that I am a Tata Institute product, I am so-and-so product, I've been born and brought up, my communication skills is excellent, my attitude is very cheerful, I have a sense of humor that can really get along with people. So I think these were all my strengths and I thought I am a very excellent person and excellent teacher. But then I know that when you get into a particular role or when you change roles, you have to fit yourself into that role. And you must have the humility to accept disappointments, humility to say that I don't know everything, there are a lot more to learn, and what is required in any particular niche or any particular role, you have to prepare yourself for it. If you want to change the definition of that role, it can't happen day one. You need to accept, adapt, and then modify. You can't simply go and modify day one and say, see, I've got all these wonderful tags behind me and you don't know my value, you're losing out on something. That means I think too much of myself. I think excellence has to nurture an attitude. I'm saying excellence is an attitude, excellence is an ability, and excellence is a skill. Here I'm talking about excellence as a combination of an attitude, the way you approach yourself, approach for the opportunities you want to take up in life, the skills you need to go with it in order to equip yourself. How do you define a skill? Simply, what is a skill? Is it a talent? I thought for a long time skill was talent, but I was disappointed. Is skill a talent? What is skill? Anyone? What is a skill? Anybody can give me an answer. Skill. What gives you the ability to do a work? Practice. Simple. Knowledge converted by practice is called a skill. You practice something, you become so good at it that you slip into a level of unconscious competence. It's like riding a bike. You've been riding it for donkey's years. You won't say, now I'll put the brake, now I'll change the gear. It becomes automatic. Skill gives you that unconscious competence. And I think a person who reaches a level of unconscious competence is a person who's marching towards excellence. And today, skill gives you 3 advantages, at least in your corporate life. 1, it gives you zero error orientation. It makes you make less mistakes in your job. 2, it gives you that kind of speed which a person with a less skill would not be able to do so. And 3, skill gives you confidence. And today I think excellence, one of the important requirements for becoming excellent is confidence. And what gives you confidence? Knowledge gives you confidence. Knowledge alone is not sufficient to give you confidence. Knowledge converted by practice makes you more confident that you become credible. So knowledge is required for confidence, and confidence gives you credibility, and once you get a credible image, you start feeling more and more self-assured and convinced that you're doing something worthwhile that is not only recognized by you but also by others, and you're on the path of excellence. So excellence is a process. You develop it over a period of time. Benchmarks can be there. You are a benchmark. IIT is a benchmark of excellence in engineering degrees, yes? But the benchmark is not merely in that, the reflected tag image that you have got for a long time. It is in the 1,000 minute actions of each one of you who have contributed something for the betterment of technology and the betterment of human beings and made life much more worth than what it is. Not only progressing in terms of technology, but also the quality of mankind, what you can contribute because you have the access to the best facilities, best peers, best resources, and the best thinking, the think bank has come here. So we expect much more from you. And always we would like to place you somewhere there and say, okay, they are role models of excellence. So it's a process that you continue to grow. So I realized that I would not be able to get the job. So I thought, now what do? I think in life one has to make choices. And choices nobody else can make for you. It comes from a self-awareness. I said, now what am I good at? I asked myself. Okay, training, he says, doors are closed. Either go and do an MBA, go and join in an organization, or go and watch 100 people doing training program. Maybe then he'll consider. Then I said, what do I do? So you were at a threshold where you had to take a chance. So I did what you all say, a SWOT analysis. What was I good at? Talking. What comes to me very easily? Relating to people and communicating with people. What am I good at? Vocabulary, reading. Maybe I'll never be at a loss for words at any point of time, because I mean, as a teacher you need to read. And I believe that good relationship building plus knowledge is what makes an excellent teacher. You like a subject not because the subject is interesting, but the teacher made it interesting. because the teacher loved the subject. She had so much to share. She had so much to give, and she was learning, he or she was learning from you constantly. It was a reciprocal process of relationship building. And by the way, exams happened. You got qualified. It's this thing. It's not like the Three Idiots movie. That what happens to talented people. Now, it is very important at that point of time, said, work. I'm good at talking. I'm good at communication. I'm good at people management. I'm not good at a desk job. I'm not good in calculation. I'm not good in jobs where I have to be very patiently sit in one place and, do some work. So I didn't know like where I could start my experience for becoming but then somehow it got into my head I should be a trainer. I really didn't know what was a trainer very clearly. I had no clarity in the destinations that I wanted to go. But then I saw an ad in a local newspaper which said, wanted educated housewives. Now I became the category of the educated housewife. Wanted educated housewives in their free time to go to the library and collect material for soft skills training, namely communication, teamworking and interpersonal skills. I thought, kya laddu opportunity hai? Somebody from Bombay is asking educated housewives. So with great enthusiasm I went. They were actually looking, there was no scarcity or no choice of candidates. Anybody who came in, they took. Acha, you are ready, you can, you know how to operate the computer, you know MS Word, you can type the data and send it to us, bas, come join. And like a daily wage laborer, if I work for 1 hour, they'll pay me 1 hour worth of whatever material. The salary was not high, but the exposure helped me a lot. I went to British Council, became my home for the next 6 months. I went through all the books on communication, team working, interpersonal skills. Then I said, okay, this is the ground I need to work because it's very close to my heart. Then I slowly asked that organization, can you initiate me as a trainer? They said, why not? They made me observe 20 people's training programs in the next few months. It is a big punishment for a teacher to sit in the class and listen to somebody talking. And for me at that time, my empathy as a teacher increased. How much have I subjected my students to such tortures? Sitting and listening to one whole day somebody talking, do this, do that. It was always a prescription. It was never a kind of an interaction. Then I decided this is what I will follow, this is what. When you watch many people, you really know what you want to do and what you don't want to do. That gave me that clarity. And for me, I started defining excellent trainer. Who is an excellent trainer? An excellent trainer has 3 things. She has knowledge, she has skills, and she has a positive attitude. If you put it like that, it's the ask of life. Attitude, skills, and knowledge. Knowledge tells you what to do. Skills tell you how to do it. And your positive attitude tells your willingness and your passion and your commitment to do things. And I found if these 3 things are there, I think you can excel in that role and become a person, not he also ran, he ran. I wanted to make that mark like that. Somebody should notice me, not for my lack of MBA, not for my lack of, corporate experience, but for Vijayanthi, who really loves her role and who wants to deliver her best. Her best need not be the same as somebody else's best. I can work in a McKinsey, I can go to Price Waterhouse, I can be a big trainer of the Stephen Covey School of Management. Still, they are all different trainers. But Vijayanthi has her own identity. I think having a character, an identity and a passion is the next requirement of excellence, which Swamiji in many of his books had said. That you should have energy, you should have character, you should have identity. What is the difference between competence and character? I feel a man should have both for him to become excellent. How would you define competence and how would you define character? Anybody? When I made a promise, I won't bore you, but I don't know. I think I should have some interaction. Yes. What do you think? What is the difference between competence and character? Be like a man with both, or a man or a woman, gender, not gender bias, who has competence as well as character. Anybody? Are you all tired after writing the exam or a day is out? There I see only silence. Yes?
I guess competence would be to be very one-dimensional in what you do and to see your own path for progress. Okay. While character would be seeing everyone's perspective and making the right decisions that it takes you further but doesn't hold anyone else back. Okay. One is more focused, the other is most, focused to a greater understanding, you're saying? Yes. I would simply say character is what you are and competence is what you can do. Simple.
Competence gives you an ability to do certain things, and character is what you are. I like Stephen Covey's example. You go to a doctor, he's excellently qualified, he cures all your illness, but he charges you through your nose. You have to almost give half your property to get yourself cured. He's got a lot of competence, but he has no character. On the other hand, you go to another doctor, extremely good man. He won't charge you a pie. He'll spend all the time in the world listening to your illness and aches and imaginary fears about when you will die and what happens if you take this tablet and all that. He gives you a lot of time. He's got a lot of character because he loves people who come to him as a counselor, but he does not cure your illness. He has character but no competence. You always like a man or a woman who has both. And I think excellent people have both. They have competence as well as character. Competence is what you can do, and character is what you are. The larger development of character happens in all the minute actions, maybe partly related to your competencies, partly related to your thinking, your value systems, your exposure, your environment, your parental role models, your student as a student. In different roles that you play, there are different people who have inspired you in different ways and have helped you to shape your competence as well as character. Today, my competence as a communicator has been shaped by my English teachers, my geography teachers and history teachers who loved their subject and would narrate. History would be like her story and his story. It would be so beautifully narrated as if she was a part of the wars of the previous time, and we never felt we were learning a subject. And that fluency sort of unconsciously got embedded into your mind. We had a library hour, we had to read a book, Enid Blyton or anybody's book, and then we should have a small discussion. So our presentation skills improved. And there was a rule that we need to, each one at any point in her class life has to be the class rep for at least one day. People were for some more days and take the responsibility of, showing a direction to other people. Now, these are the things I think your early influences also has a great impact on your character and competence. So to come back to my thing, I did that job as a module developer. Today we have lovely titles, no? They don't call you one who went to the library to collect material. I was given the title Module Development Executive. So I said, wow, what a title it was. Anyway, it was good. And then I told them I want to become a trainer. I got initiated as a trainer. I became so happy and successful in a trainer. So they told me, now you become a marketing consultant. You have to take our company's brochure and market the concept of training, because a person who delivers with conviction can talk about the value that is added through training. I think that is very important for you to be excellent. You must be convinced about what you're doing. I sometimes go to offices, they'll say, Vijayanthi, what is this? You will come for 2 days, talk very nicely, motivate everybody. Next day, it is called the euphoria or the bubble effect. They'll all be very good. And they say, Madam taught us this. Afterwards, they go back to square one. Why should I invest in training? I can make them do e-learning. I can give them textbooks. I can send them PowerPoints. That's more than enough. I said, I think you're not dealing with, machines, you're dealing with human beings. I think as Swamiji at some book he said, feeling and motive are very important for you to give your best. You must feel for something. That feeling can only be translated or transmitted when you see a person. The passion in your voice, your body language, the words that you use, the tone. All this is very important for you to, that somewhere the transmission will take place. About the feeling is something that you cannot, quantify. You can't simply materially equate it to something. And I think a teacher's role can never be substituted through email, e-learning or anything like that. Because definitely there is a personality factor that has an impact. So I said, yes, I'm convinced about training. I'm convinced that children can do well. I'm convinced that nobody is born a Buddhu. Everyone, if they have the right opportunities and the right, triggers, they can come up to what they want. Though today's age, that your age is called the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 philosophy. Have you heard about it? Today's younger generation is very much obsessed with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 philosophy. One spouse. Fortunately, it has remained that way. So I'm very happy. One spouse, 2 children, 3-bedroom flat, 4-wheeler vehicle, 5-figure salary. They say this is today's expectations of a youth. They say this is called the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 philosophy. Now whatever be your philosophy, each one has a right to improve their stances in life, looking at what they were and where they want to be. So it is very important. I am not questioning, but what I am questioning is, there is your value system, there is your passion, there is a commitment. I think passion, conviction and commitment are very necessary for you to bring excellence. Now this is a process. It can't happen one day. For me, my passion in teaching, in school, whenever there was an exam, two of my friends will always come to me and say, Vijayanthi, tell me this, I'm not able to follow. At that time, I never thought I'm repeating and studying a lesson that I already know. Why can't I read? For me, there was so much joy in sharing and giving. So I forgot some of the topics which could have come for the exam. I would have missed out and maybe I was not the topper in the class. But whatever I knew very clearly, very well, because teaching makes you very clear. You're so thorough about because you've already taught that to someone. So I think you start nurturing unconsciously a passion, a commitment, wanting to share, wanting to give, thinking more of giving rather than receiving. In the car today, Alok was asking me, ma'am, how is spirituality related to excellence? I feel spirituality, one part of spirituality is something with relationship with God, but spirituality is a wide perspective to life. When you've got so many things, the architect of nature, when you look at so many things which are amazing, marvelous, goes beyond your technological imagination, and you've all got it free. They do it. Today the sun rises without even one day complaining that I feel tired, I don't want to rise and make the world. When that kind of an attitude, when that kind of an experience you get when you go to a mountain top, or when you stand in the sea, or when you stand in the silence of nature, it's a spiritual experience. It gives you a sense of perspective that you are a microcosm in this macrocosm. Many things you've got without asking, and that humility, if society can give me so much without asking, what do I give back to that society? Once you start becoming others oriented, in terms of not because you are in a position to give, you want to give because you have received a lot. You feel it's a part of your growing, it's a part of your duty, it's a part of your right to give back. I think then that spirituality and excellence start coming into your personality. Anybody who speaks well is not an excellent person. Whatever he speaks, he must imbibe in his personality. This also, I think, somewhere Vivekananda ji said somewhere in his speech. You have to imbibe it into your personality. I feel after doing these programs, I've become a better person because there are certain traits in my personality I've developed. One, I've become more empathetic. I don't stand on a judgment anytime. Chalo. If I were in his position, I'm sure this is what would have done. So let me patiently listen to that, and then before I give what I think should be done. It has made me more empathetic. It had made me more humble. In the previous, when I started this profession as a trainer, I used to be very keen on the feedback forms given to me. How many people wrote excellent? How many people wrote very good? How many people wrote very fair? And if somebody had written fair, this fellow didn't like me in the class. That must be the reason, because when he asked me a question, I just sidelined him. That is the reason. Not because I am bad. I always felt other people were responsible for whatever did not happen to me. There was so much of an I in me. But now I feel what I have given is less important than what difference, value addition it has made in my class. Today, if I have made a very grumpy person smile a little more, that in office he becomes a more acceptable person, I think that's one of my feedback to a program. If I have made somebody think and become more sensitive, before I open my mouth and react, madam, I count 10 and say, let me first listen to what he has said before I give my opinion. I think that is a beautiful feedback that I get. Not whether Vijayanthi talks well. Vijayanthi has delivered her content properly, and Vijayanthi impressed us with her smiling face and bubbly nature and a vibrant personality that today we almost felt never bored and we never yawned in the class. Is not a feedback to me. I think excellence comes in the self-realization that you make a difference to somebody else. It is respecting what I have and enabling people to develop that self-respect and likability factor. Everybody should like yourself, oneself. Unless you like yourself, you can't start towards excellence. And comparison is the greatest enemy towards excellence. When you start, you can be inspired by the examples of others, but you can't become somebody else. That, I think, is a lesson that one needs to develop in one's personality. That is why I said it's an ongoing process and an attitude. Now, when I became a trainer and all that, I did excellently well as a trainer and as a marketing. I worked with them for about 8 years, and about 3 years ago I resigned, and now I'm an independent consultant. I do for corporates and colleges, and I do it with I like my job. I'm one of the very few people in life who's a very blessed person, I always think. I always got a job I loved, and I loved the job I got. Very often people are not lucky. They are forced to like the job they get. But for me, there has been some power which has always made me like the job I got. Any job, I enjoyed totally. I gave my best. My best need not have been the best of what they had expected. Vijayanthi's best was always there. And I think giving your best to whatever you undertake is a sign of excellence. Now, my life journey, now if you wonder how ma'am can go on talking without even taking a breath, I've done about 1,000 programs in the last 9 years. So my hardware, software, according to your terminology, is pakka. So if you ask me to wake me up in the sleep and say do a communication program, I'll go tat, I'll go. Because of so much of unconscious competence which has come because of exposure, experience and information. You form an attitude of excellence, and you develop a capability of excellence only through the knowledge, skill and attitude, ask of life. You must have a willingness to do things. You must, unless you like, your father gets you a bicycle, you drive very well, but suddenly you find your friends have a bike. You don't touch the bicycle. How would people know you're good at driving a cycle? Because you're not using it. So you need to use your skills. You need to update your knowledge. You need to think constantly. Every class is a learning experience. Now I've come to a stage where books can validate what you feel. Books don't tell you something rocket science unless it's some technology. They only validate or confirm what you have already been experienced. They put it in a perspective. They say if you do A, B, C, D, this will be the result. If you do X, Y, Z, you can go to this road. Make your choices. Which road do you want to follow? They make things easier for you. But they don't tell you, at least in our area, not something that we have never experienced. It is our reaction or response to situations that determines what is in our control and what is not in our control. And so books tell you, these are the areas in which you can have control. These are areas which you can't have control. And many a time, don't blame the entire world for what is going wrong with you. First start blaming yourself before you start blaming others. I'm not saying luck does not play a factor, advantageous background does not play a factor for growth. No, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying if you want to be excellent, keeping all the obstacles and constraints in mind, you start moving towards. I'm very fascinated by Javed Akhtar's Rotomac pen advertisement. Have you heard that? How many of you don't know Hindi? Don't know Hindi. So for you all, I'll translate. It's very beautifully he says, Kwab hai to manzil, manzil hai to raste, raste hai to fasle, fasle hai to mushkile, hamesha fighter jeeta hai. Yes or no? Kwab hai to manzil. All of us have a dream. A dream. A dream is an aim, according to me. It's an ambition. It's a desire. I want to make my village a model village in South India. Dream. Desire. Kwab. Kwab hai to manzil. That manzil now is transferred in the management terminology into a goal. 15 years from now, I want to make my village self-sufficient with respect to transport, health and medical facilities. I convert the dream into a tangible direction and a destination which will give me some kind of a pathway. It's not going to be easy pathway. Raste hai to fasle. You have to span distances. You have to face mushkile. You have to face difficulties. And once that pathway, that destination is very clear, you start developing objectives. Small outcomes. Small results that you want to achieve to realize that goal. So within 2 years, I'll keep an outcome before my mind. Within 2 years, my village should be connected by road at least to 5 towns around that village. This is one outcome which will take me to the goal, my destination, which will take me to my aim. So it is very, very important that you have a clarity in thinking, a purpose, which Swamiji said there should be a motive. First you should feel for something, and then there should be a motive. Why are you doing it? What do I want to achieve at the end? Okay, tell me what is the difference between achievement and success? The example that I said, was it a tale of achievement or is it a tale of success? What is the difference between achievement and success? Anybody? Can I use this class? Did somebody use it? No? Nobody has used that. What is the difference between achievement and the success?
Achievement is something which inspires others also. But success is just finishing a task. Say there is a difficult task and you have finished it over the most difficult days. Achievement is something which will inspire other people to. It is something which gives inspiration.
60%. Yes. Relative. What you're trying to say is that achievement is a relative phenomenon. It's something phenomenon. What do you think? Yes.
I would say achievement is external. What you can show to the world. Success is what you feel inside.
Success is internal, achievement is external. I'll tell you, I'll imitate a Japanese who came to my class. There's a company called Fisher & Russell. I was doing a program there, and this Japanese is one of their clients, and he came and told me. And I asked him to define success and achievement. He gave me exactly the opposite of what you said. Success, big house, big car, big money. That is success. Achievement, proud, happy. I was good. So cutely he explained, with his whatever Japanese English he had. Just as we have Tanglish and Bihari English and Kerala English, he had that Japanese English to say. It's exactly opposite of what he said. I don't know, we can debate about it. Success is getting what you want. Simple. But achievement is a feeling. That's where I'm saying excellence is related to feelings. Achievement is a feeling of pride, satisfaction, happiness, fulfillment you experience when you set a goal for yourself. That goal is very difficult to achieve. You had to go through lots of obstacles and challenges. You achieved it, and the feeling that you felt after getting that goal accomplished, that feeling is called an achievement. Achievement is not an end product. Getting 100 marks is maybe in the eyes of the world is a big achievement because the only person who got. But you have felt proud because you are a below average student till then in school or college. You really worked hard and you got the best that was possible. The feeling you experienced is called an achievement. So achievement is very intangible sometimes. It's a feeling. It's a feeling of pride, satisfaction, happiness, fulfillment you experience. And they say that excellent people constantly nurture this feeling of achievement. It can be a small or a big. When P.T. Usha made us recognizable in the map of the world, it was a national achievement as well as her own personal achievement. There could be a boy in your college who had 20 arrears. At one stroke he cleared it all in one distinct and proved to the teachers that he is not the Buddhu boy, that he was branded, that all he had to do is to struggle to give that goal, that yes, I need to clear the papers within such and such a thing. Always an achievement needs to have a motive, end in mind, a process, a struggle, and feeling good after that struggle. If you don't feel good after the struggle, it's not considered achievement. A sense of good and well-being, little close to what you were saying, it's a very relative perspective that one can have. So this is very important that once you nurture excellence, you want to nurture, it should be little, feeling of fulfillment that you get. People get fulfillment for different reasons. No two people's achievement can be compared. Born in Chennai, born into a very upper middle class and high class family, went to the best schools, got always medals. For me, that may not be an achievement, but to a village boy who traveled 5 kilometers to for his mid-school and high school, went to a very ordinary college, got a third-class pass, but came back to his village as the first graduate in the village, may be a very big achievement. So it's very relative to your circumstances, relative to the struggles, relative to the goals. And I think Swamiji somewhere along this says everyone should have faith in oneself and do what their heart tells them to do. And do it with so much of pride, so much of fulfillment, and that obstacles will come. And once you are able to overcome these obstacles, your sense of achievement increases and your self-esteem, the respect you give to yourself starts increasing, and you start becoming an excellent human being as well as an excellent in the competence area also. So when I narrated all these journeys to you, because I wanted to tell you that what is self-excellence? The title of this thing is self-excellence. I think self-excellence has a physical aspect, a spiritual aspect, a social aspect, and a mental aspect. Yes or no? It has many aspects. What is the physical aspect of excellence? Going to the gym and making your body fit, is that excellence? So if you have a 5-pack, 7-pack, what do you do? What is excellence in it? Physical excellence. The body.
Something tangible which you achieve.
Like. I want to lose weight within 15 months. And I keep that tangible goal. I start dieting, fasting, exercising, walking, jogging. And I get that as physical achievement. Perhaps. In one day. Maybe for a quarter day. Is what I can say. Yes. What do you think is physical excellence? Respecting your body is physical excellence. You can't take your body for granted. We say give it a proper diet, health, exercise, rest and sleep. You owe it to the body. You owe it to the kind of health that has been nurtured by your parents and brought you today to be fit enough mentally to participate in an educational course that seems to offer one of the best that is given here. I think respect to the body, respect through a dietary regime, through a proper exercise, through a proper diet, through a proper nourishment, through a proper attitude to health is something that I think excellence should be nurtured for. I think when you go to this Ramakrishna, I went to Coimbatore, I had been there to give her this thing. All the Swamijis up and this thing, busy walking, they never take. We asked for car from going from here to the other place. We felt very ashamed afterwards. Because he just walked from one end, which must have been from the other end, looked very far away. He said, you need exercise, what do you do? So I think respect to your body and even respect to your appearance is important for me. Today in the corporate world, they like the package, no? You must come smartly dressed, you must wear tucked in shirts, you should wear dark color pant, and like you'll have grooming for the entry into corporate roles. They feel that you are part. In Tamil we have a proverb, I will translate it for my Hindi people afterwards. Aal padi, aade padi. A man is judged by the clothes that he wears. Appearances are important. Appearances tell the confidence level, the way you walk, the body language. Very important, the way you walk, the way you look at people, the way you smile, the way you nod your head, the way you have eye contact with people. I think it all exudes confidence. And confidence is a part of accepting from the other world. You need to be accepted from the other world also, that yes, here is a confident man. If I hire him in my company, he'll make a difference. Because no organization is a charity club that they want you to come there and your IIT tag will make you. They all want you to work. They say we are for profits. You have to be productive. You have to develop some kind of, you have to contribute to the bottom line. What is mental excellence? Can somebody tell me the mind? We say the mind is the software and the brain is the hardware. How do you bring excellence into it? Anybody? Yes. Okay. What is happiness is a state of mind, no? What is happiness? Huh? Tell me that. You said being happy. I want to know what is happy. Being happy. Why do you think happy? What is it? Satisfaction is happiness. One component. Anything else? What is happiness? Very difficult to define, no? It changes from time to time, place to place, and from person to person. I think when you want what you get, you're very happy and satisfied with what you get, you're happy. Like my Japanese said, no, big house, big car, big money, and recognition, he said. So that was he was happiness. That's what he defined. So happiness varies from a person. It's a state of mind which says, when you want what you get, and you are satisfied with it, it gets to happiness. Okay. Being happy is one way of being excellent. All happy people are excellent, they become lazy. Possible, no? There is another component to it. What do you think is mental? You have done about the right brain, left brain research. Have you heard about it? Yes? Yes, sir. It always involves effort, and the effort and the happiness that comes after effort. Effort is there's a beautiful proverb, no? If you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. Nothing in life just comes to you like that. If people boast, they say, I can learn it in 1 minute, they're all liars. They would not be showing to you that they worked hard somewhere else. Maybe some point, maybe 1 to 2% they would have done by luck or something like that. But 98% of the time it's only effort. When efforts lead to fruits, and you want those fruits, and you enjoy the fruits and you share the fruits, and you want to improve on something, then you start becoming happy. So happiness is definitely a state of mind, and mental excellence means, let me first start with a technical explanation. A mental excellence means the use of the right brain and the left brain to the optimum amount possible. You know, your left brain governs your logical, analytical thinking, and your right brain governs your visual thinking, emotions, and your imagination. Today, the modern scientist, psychologist like Gardner, he says a man who knows how to use both sides of the brain has more chances of becoming an excellent person than a person who has a tendency to use only one side of the brain. Now you will ask me, ma'am, how do I know which side of the brain I'm using? Whether I'm using it at all is a problem. The second, if I'm using it, who bothers to make an analysis whether it's left side or right side or both sides? Chalo, let me give you a small, since you're all IIT and I'm sure you can crack quizzes very fast, I'll give you 4 words. Tell me the connection. Let me see whether your right brain is working or left brain is working. What is the connection between a comb, a clock, a needle and a bottle? 4 letters, 4 objects. A clock, a comb, a needle, a stitching needle, and a bottle. Not a bottle, glass bottle, any bottle. But the 4 has a common link. What's the common link? Please don't tell me it's used by man in everyday or life. That's the reason. I don't think I've been insulting your intelligence by expecting such an answer. What's the connection? Anybody, come for any answer. A bottle, a comb, a clock and a needle. This is from a cassette. Why didn't I think of it before? They say many times perspectives to life are very important.
They all are found easy and they are very easy.
I need to ask question for this. Prahalad, no? Huh? Your name is Rahul. Rahul? Does that require too much of thinking? It's an automatic answer. Very useful to mankind, it seems. Yes? They can't be carefully said. That's the common link. Simplistic answer. What else? Like your answers, there was one guy from Vietnam. I get up in the morning, drink a bottle of water, fill the clock, then I have to go to the office. And let's see the button that is not stitched properly. Go by air, I walk to office now. I'm telling you. Wonderful. I require an answer like this. Then. Why you can have glass bottles? You should have common link. Runs across materials, across shapes and all that. They can come in any shape. No? Only a comb and a needle will come in some definite shape. The bottle can come in any shape. You can have a rubber bottle, round bottle, long bottle. But 4 should have a common link. They will also ask me to show you something. 1 more minute. Give me an answer. Yes. Yeah. There is no relationship with answer you must give. I know dichotomy and diversity should be encouraged in class, but not like this. But you write in an exam paper, what you ask is silly, so no answer. Don't ask. Yes. Ask me. All are used, sir? Women? You don't drink water, you don't comb your hair. And gentlemen, with your hair, it needs to be combed. You don't wear watch. I have to give a special counseling class. I shall leave with you independently, not as a class. Yes.
These are the things which set things right actually. Like a comb sets your hair right, a clock tells you this is the time to do something. It constantly reminds you of
This
time.
is a goody left brain answer. Very goody answer. It's just very systematic and organized in whatever you do. That brain is very logical, very organized, very systematic. Some other engineer gave me an answer. All these objects have a space between them. Between the numbers you have a space. Between the mouth of the bottle you have a space. Needle has a space. Comb has a space. Space is the common name in our research. That's a wonderful Einstein answer. Very good. But I want a right brain answer. Because the more you encourage flexible, open-minded, right brain thinking, the more chances of excellence. Because creativity is, again, it's not something to do only with discovery of objects. It's looking at things from a fresh perspective. Flexibility in your thinking, fluency of ideas, cross-fertilization of ideas. This is what is called creativity. Yes, always a formula. What morbid you are. What a morbid thought. You are not found at home, found in a hospital. This is attention-seeking behavior? Okay. Simple. All of them have some parts of the human body in them. The cow has a teeth, the bottle has a mouth and a neck, the needle has an eye, and the clock has hands. They have some parts of the human body in them. That's what it is. This is called visual thinking. It is not right or wrong thinking. The more you want to change. See, change is one aspect of reality, and we say excellent people are willing to change themselves, are willing to adapt themselves to circumstances, are willing to see how to bring change in others, for which first you should have a flexibility. You should have an open-minded approach. You should be able to visualize alternatives. Your answers are not wrong. There is no right or wrong answers. But the more options and alternatives you are able to encourage your brain to think, that is called moving towards mental excellence. We know from the statistics that an average man uses 1 to 10% of his brain, and 90 to 99% portions of the brain are not used. And if ever we were to build a computer that can do all the functions that the brain can do, that computer will be as big as the earth itself. It's a Mohana Shastra to say. What the brain can do, no computer is able to do. Popular articles about memory and brain shift, you've heard, no? That once you go to a computer, unless you give the file name, it won't give you the relevant file. But a brain will remember everybody and everything about a person, but it won't remember his name. But it will never confuse information of one person with another person without a file name. How the brain is able to do it, still they have not been able to crack this particular function of the brain. So excellence is in thinking skills. A man who is able to think about himself, about his environment, about his others, is marching towards excellence. And thinking should make use of both. We need a right brain thinking because the right brain controls your emotional thinking, your visual thinking, and your imaginative thinking. And we are all dealing with people. We are not dealing with computers. We are all dealing with machines. We are dealing with men. That is why I loved Swamiji's one. He says, give importance to the idea, not the master alone. Because the idea, when you murder somebody, you're murdering the person and you're killing the ideas with him. Don't worship the master, more worship the ideas. So this is what in the corporate terminology they say, be issue-based, don't be person-based. Never take rejection of ideas as personal rejection. look at the issue and say he is only rejecting my suggestion. He is not rejecting me per se. I still have faith in what I have explained. But if somebody says what he is suggesting can help us to resolve that situation, why not I accept? There is no ego. There is no question of saying that I am more better than he is. In that situation, we need to get the best possible solution within a particular period of time. This acceptance that people are different, without being judgmental, without having a sense of egoism in you, without always thinking that your education entitles you to get the best. Some people think it's an entitlement. They should get their earnings without working for it. Why? My parents have invested so much money in my education. Why not? I start with this salary. This is an entitlement attitude which would lead to a lot of conflict within a team. Today I feel intelligent people are everywhere. Our mechanic in a car shed is as much an engineer as you are, because he has got practical intelligence. He can disassemble a car and assemble it all over again without knowing the principles of automobile engineering. Our electrician is as much a triple E graduate as many of you are. There is a computer hardware fellow who is able to really, repair your hardware without even knowing, not even seeing how it has been assembled or where it comes. For him, whether it's a foreign, he has a keen sense of observation, a reflection, a kind of thinking. So thinking, mental self is something that you need to equip yourself. Thinking beyond boundaries, reflective thinking. He says, no, that Swamiji was saying, isn't it? Your Shraddha, your Jnana, as well as your Upanishad. Upanishad is more of your retrospective thinking, isn't it? Thinking about where you are, where you want to go. What is it that I have taken and granted? Always, recalling and making an assessment of what is the direction you are taking. Before blaming others, looking at your own self, looking at your thinking process, your thought processes. I think mental self excellence comes in sharpening your mind. Sharpening your mind not only intellectually but also socially, in terms of your interpersonal relationship. Accepting that people are different. No two people can be the same. And accepting it is a very, very great difficulty for all of us. We just don't think that two people can be the same. When I went to the north, for many people, anybody south of the Vindhyas was a Madrasi. Anybody south of the Vindhyas. There was no third, because that is the exposure and that the evaluation that they had. And when I went to Bombay, people gave me this preconceived ideas. Vijayanthi, you can never travel in train in Mumbai. It is so bad. In the morning, if you want to get into a train, just stand at the entrance like a conveyor belt, you will go inside. If you want to get out, just stand at the entrance, you will be pushed outside. You don't have to take an effort, but you must know how to keep all your belongings safe. But Bombay taught me a lot of things when I experienced it myself. I didn't go with a preconceived notion. That Bombay taught me discipline, Bombay taught me respect for cues, Bombay taught me live and let live attitude, and Bombay taught me how people can be cheerful in spite of living through a lot of constraints. Now, you live in a pampered campus. Half the heat of Chennai is not known to you without an AC. But there are many people who live in concrete jungles and who are in an artificially nurtured virus environment of coolers or ACs which have not been cleaned for ages because it's not practical. You can't make the whole organization stop. And I know some people have become robots. They don't know when they enter the organization. They don't know when they get out of the organization. The day looks like night. The night looks like day because inside. And they go back with very little human contact or interpersonal skills. And suddenly when the marriage market, when they're looking out for a girl, he has no conversational skills. Very important to develop conversational skills to retain the interest of a girl or a boy. Yes or no? It is so important because sometimes your life, excellence is not in getting degrees or working in an AC environment, saying, God, in my BCom I get a 15K per month or a 20K per month. I think that is not excellence. It requires a lot of sensitivity to human beings today, which is captured in the concept in management called emotional intelligence. Today nobody is asking your IQ scores alone, because they say your IQ scores get stabilized by the age of 22. What would vary and matter for your growth when you want a company to grow and you want to grow towards some excellent benchmarks? They say your emotional intelligence scores should be high. What is emotional intelligence? What do you think it is? How can you be emotionally intelligent? Very difficult. Just now I said you can't quantify emotions. But today they measure emotional intelligence. What is emotional intelligence? self-motivation or intrinsic motivation today is a requirement for excellence. Now what is motivation? What do you mean by motivation? What is motivation? What motivates you to give you a good answer paper to do an exam here? Result. So what is motivation? A drive that urges you to give your best to whatever you undertake. We talk of external motivators like money, salary, good working environment, good textbooks, good facilities as external. But they say excellent people have an intrinsic drive in them. A drive that tells them, give your best to whatever you undertake. In the initial stages when Narayan Murthy started Infosys, he used to be often seen quoting things like, for me, my bathroom cleaner is as important as the boardroom decision maker, because if they are self-motivated people, the best quality in my organization can prevail. It in the condition of the bathroom, the motivation of the person who says, I am doing a job which is not high or low, but I want to make this place sparkling because it's my pride, a sense of ownership to the job that you're doing. And you give your best shot. I think quality and image comes out of the feelings and the efforts of such people, whether he's in a high position or whether he's in a low position. So internal drive is an energy which tells you, I'll give my best to whatever I undertake. Whether I'm cleaning my bathrooms or attending a meeting or delivering a class. It is not because others are going to appreciate it. I want my bathroom to be the best. I want it safe, free from germs. I want it to be sparkling. It should be safe for people who use it. Now that is your attitude. Believe me, you're already in the path towards self-excellence. So the mental preparations that goes on, these are the mental components of excellence. Emotionally intelligent people is one component of self-excellence. In empathy, in self-motivation, in sociability, being friendly and approachable to others. In colleges, I do not know. Some people think knowledge is power. Power need not, and the power should not be shared. So they won't share any textbook or any information with others. If I give it to him, he'll become better than me. So let him struggle. I have struggled, no. So let him also struggle. This is an attitude that people, I do not know to what extent it is a practically driven attitude, because you should not encourage laziness. I know that. But I think an abundance mentality is required, for which you need to be friendly, approachable, and have a win-win. Chalo, the world is large. If he takes my notes, what will happen? If he studies harder, he'll get it. If I study hard, I'll also get bus. So his marks go. That kind of renunciation over certain, feelings of inadequacy. You must renunciate feelings of inadequacy, pressure. What you should feel is, it's a free will. Chalo, let me do my best. Ultimately, the one who tops the IIT does not get the best job, no? You all know by experience, first rank gold medalists need not all the time will end up in the best jobs or become successful in life. But success and achievement is an ongoing process. That's why I say excellence must be built over a period of time. And then he says, emotionally intelligent people, the last characteristic is they have a lot of self-control. They know when to shout, when not to shout, when to open their mouth, when not to open their mouth, when to poke their nose, when not to poke their nose, when to keep their opinions to themselves, when to discuss opinions. A lot of control over your mouth, your actions and your thought. That self-control is very, very important. So this is the concept of mental excellence. Then I come to social excellence. Social excellence is your relationship building skills. The way you build relationships with people. Many of us turn out to be karyavadis. When we want something to be done, we are very nice to the person, give lots of interaction. When we don't want, we drop them like a piece of charcoal and we don't even look at them afterwards. I think that is not your march towards excellence. You don't have to love everybody. Joe Swamiji says, try to do it. It's difficult for us. Learn to first accept people. Learn to say, okay, he comes from a different circumstance, he comes from a different background. I'm fascinated with that story of that Anand Kumar of Bihar, which comes out in the net all the time, no? But how he started the super concept of 30. You all must have heard, no? Especially students from Bihar. How he picks up children from very disadvantaged backgrounds, gives them a hostel, gives them a free education, and makes them get into IITs, and his success rate is 98%. He says somebody asked him, you are fit enough to go to Oxford and Harvard to pursue your studies. Don't you feel bad that you're still being a tuition teacher, coaching students to get into IIT? He said, yeah. Honestly, yes, sometimes it is. But I feel the success stories of so many people becomes my achievement, because from where to where have they shaped. And very sadly, he said, somebody asked him, what is the secret formula for your success? He says, I'll openly share it. 3 things. Number 1, they must love maths. He's a maths teacher. Unless you love the subject and I love my subject, there can be no excellence in results. They love full commitment and passion. 2, methodology of teaching. I never write out boards, long formulas on the board. I take practical examples from their day-to-day life, convert it into numericals, and then make them apply the numerical. Once examples become embedded in their mind, automatically the formula also starts becoming more meaningful. So my examples and my practical activity-based methodology is what is the secret of my excellence. And third, he says, is after the end of every concept, I have a test. He says, unless you have a feedback, whether people have understood or not understood, you can't progress ahead. He says, these are the 3 formulae for success for me, and I feel I'm making it. And he says, I wish my dream is all over India, I want to start hostels for poor students, whereby from 8th standard I catch them according to their interests and capabilities. And to those people who love maths and this kind of an engineering, I would like to give them my help and my resources. So here it was not money that motivated him, the very joy of shaping the future of so many people. Sometimes people say, Vijayanthi, how many cars do you have? First question, you've been in this field for the 9 years and going to corporates. I said, more than the cars, I have earned the blessings of so many students, and so many people said, they'll always remember me in a positive manner. She made a difference. She inspired a thought. She stimulated a confidence in me. So that is converted to blessings. And once today, what does your great Reiki and all that, what do they say? You transfer energy from here to some other this thing by thinking and doing all that. This is what they say, no? That is what we are also, teachers are also Reiki masters. We transfer a lot of positive energy to you, and when you think back on as positive energy, automatically it has some impact on our well-being. So this is what is called social excellence. Your ability to network, relationship building. And spiritual excellence is your attitude of humility, an attitude of gratitude, an attitude of looking at life as a big macrocosm and understanding your very simple giving role in that life. That spirituality that enables you to go beyond the needs of yourself to the needs of others, for me, is the greatest sign of fulfillment and the ultimate way in which all that you have done culminates in this spiritual outlook of excellence. And I think, to me, if you imbibe this physical, mental, social, spiritual excellence, you are fit to play any role in any environment. What is a role? I'll end up my lecture with this. What is a role? What do you mean by a role? Vijayanthi is now playing the role of a talker. What is a role? What do you mean by role? Excellence in the teaching role. Excellence in the homemaker's role. We hear books, we read books about that. Yes. What is a role? A job that you do, a function that you do, a task, a responsibility, an action. These are simply. We have very clear perspective to whatever you. A role is a behavior expected of a person occupying a particular position. It's a behavior expected of a person occupying a particular position. So in any role that you play, either as a student, as a brother, as a son, as a daughter, daughter-in-law, citizen, believe there are 2 components. One is the objective or the purpose of that role, and the actions that you perform to fulfill the objectives. Focus on objectives. Don't focus on actions. That's where excellence starts. If you go on writing notes and going to the library, helping, you are only focusing on actions. Focus on the objective. What is my objective? Why am I doing? What results are expected out of me? Once you focus on objectives, excellence and actions also gets tailor-made to life. And environment, any environment. Be it, many of you from North, you had to first get used to IIT, get used to Chennai, get used to new places, non-family environments. So there are a lot of challenges, but you accepted and adapted because your mind gently says, I have chosen this, let me better make the best use of it. That means if you want to, Where there is a will, there is a way. I think with this, I stop because I've got 15 minutes question hour. I hope I made some kind of stimulation into your concepts of excellence. Thank you very much. Anything you want to ask me? Anything? No questions? Am I taking that as a positive feedback? No questions? Or is there something that I've stimulated you want to ask? Yes. It's not only a question addressed to me. If somebody feels that you can give a more meaningful answer than I am, please let me know first. Not more on actions.
I remember Swami Vivekananda said that don't expect the fruit of your actions. Just focus, give yourself to your action and the fruit, and don't.
Your objectives do not mean results.
Okay.
Objective means purpose. I'll give you an example.
Okay.
I'm a homemaker. What is the purpose of a homemaker? To provide a happy, healthy atmosphere in the family. That's the purpose.
Okay.
And what are the actions I'll be doing? Cooking, cleaning, dusting, helping children in homework, looking after the aged members in the family, and all that. Now, I'm an excellent cook. What is the purpose of a cook? To provide a healthy, tasty diet to the family. Purpose. But if I go on cooking all kinds of dishes, sweets, and because I don't want my children go to the hotel, I'm satisfying the purpose of tasty, but foregoing the expectation of a healthy, balanced diet. So here Swamiji talked about not the result. He talked about results. Don't bother about the results. Focus on the actions. What I'm talking about is focus on the purpose. Just because you know a lot of actions, don't be performing them because you know them. Always be guided with a spirit or a motive. That's what I meant. Not...
Can you make this point clear about the difference between character and competence?
Competence is a proving. Okay? How do you prove your capability? By first accumulating knowledge on it, applying that knowledge skills. You do it. So it is what you can do, what you can deliver. It is seen in tangible outputs. If I am a BPO officer, I should enter 170 documents in a day, and if I do 180 documents, then I am a competent data entry operator because the target given to me was 170. I have exceeded by practice, by equipping myself with zero errors and speed and able to do. I am a competent in that role of a data entry operator. Character is what makes you the person. My willingness to apply. They give me 170. I am not only doing 170, I am going more than 180. I am going and helping somebody who is having a mistake. That's where I have character. Today I did not complete my target. I have the honesty to go and tell my supervisor, today my target has been 160 only. That is character. That is integrity. You walk your talk and talk your talk. You deliver all the promises you make, and you only make promises that you can deliver. It is you, the sense of you. There is a beautiful anthropology book which says, personality is what makes you like all other men, some other man and no other man. And no other man is what determines your character and identity. You are like all other men. We have food, clothing, shelter, needs. You are like some other men. You are born in a particular culture, in a particular family, in a particular neighborhood. But you are no other man. It means you are a unique person with your own capabilities and character. Character is your action which will reflect integrity and values. Competence is the output of what you have practiced, which is seen by others in terms of tangible terms. That's it. standards.
So, what do you think the education system, what measures should be taken?
It is a very, very huge issue, but I think somewhere basics should be taught in a more practical and more activity-based way in terms of the
No, it should be built into the curriculum. So,
partly built into the curriculum, and I think 50% of what happens to a child happens at home and also happens at school. So if both of them are a kind of a coin to each other, no problem. But if they contradict each other, it becomes a problem. And today, sadly, I don't agree because are oft repeated that they are encouraging memory, not encouraging understanding. Why CBSE students get into IIT, not state board? Simple reason, it's more a problem-solving, analytical approach. I want an education which makes people think. Think in terms of technicality, think in terms of the human being values. I think both are not happening to the extent we want, and only the people who can afford such a kind of education are experimenting with this Montessori system and the new schools where the fees themselves are so big. But I am happy to know today corporation schools are also increasing their visibility by having at least a handful of dedicated teachers who want to raise the bar. So that tag attached to corporation school model is slowly getting, I think it's a very difficult process, but somewhere the family, I think, has the greatest responsibility, then followed by the education system. Today, I think what I am is unconscious behaviors I learned from my mother, my father, my grandfather, and so many, they never taught me that, but I saw them behaving. I think that is what today makes me still relevant here, because I'm convinced, because they could not have become a Bill Gates or Reliance Ambani. There's certainly very happy, successful, and contented individuals who felt that life was worth living and had so much affection and love to give along with what they showed in their life. I think family has a very big role. Then followed by the education system. This is my answer. The education students do have a role, but in the primary, say from 0 to 8 level, family has equally important. Maybe the interactional skills are taken by given in the school. How to get along with people who you don't know, how to listen to a teacher, how to talk to discipline. Certain things are taught. But your deep lying values, your attitude is the family. Yes, somebody was putting up your hand.
This is regarding excellence. Excellence comes from skill comes from practice. So what do you tell about the mind excellence?
Attitude.
Mind excellence.
Mind excellence is a way of
Mental excellence, I think.
what I said. Mental excellence comes in the ways of thinking and having an encompassing view, thinking which is analytical, thinking which is practical, and thinking which is all inclusive. So that is where I'm saying people and emotions. Your logical as well as your creative thinking. That is mental excellence. When you know how to bring the best in you and best in others, there is a mental excellence. When you are able to create a product, that is an innovative excellence. When you are able to analyze and make things easy for other people to do, that is logical thinking.
We cannot practice the mental excellence, this skill. We cannot get the other things we can practice, but the mental excellence we cannot practice.
Why you can't practice it? Observe, be patient, live and let live. Don't jump to conclusion. Don't think you are the perfect person against whom all standards are to be compared. It's an attitude that you need to develop. I think once you develop attitude, is the way you approach people, situations, and things. And attitudes can be cultivated through exposure, experience, and education. That is why Swamiji wrote so much on education. Education is not only the transfer of knowledge, but the ability to handle yourself and other people in the wider world. Brings a kind of a positive change. The starting point in all is which is simple. So I think education is mental excellence. Developing a mental excellence. Yes. He wants to share something.
Good evening, ma'am. I'm Wing Commander Ravindran. I'm the only defense officer on deputation to IIT for the defense training or the military training to the IIT students. In fact, there was a mindset all this time oh, IIT kids are only for books. They don't. Whereas when we experimented, and thanks to the director, where we even give them certain parasailing training, certain military training, wherein firing, parade, and etc., etc. In fact, they did best so well. Even today, the general in Delhi, he was surprised. How did this change come? Where all this time their mindset was like in all the IITs and BITS, it's a failure. The military training is a failure. And what I found is today there are my cadets who come to guest house to even learn the etiquettes. So what it happens, in fact, I'm just giving it as an answer to the sir's questions. When you go for a complete training, you make them understand what for all this are. The logic is given to them, and you also show it to them. The master also has to show it to them. Look, whether it is a run. In fact, today, when I go for a run in the morning, 5:30, at least I have 2-3. At least 2-3. For me, that is good enough. I know they have a hectic schedule, but they're looking for. They're looking for. And all this time, I think they've been taught, no, you study till 2 o'clock, then sleep. In fact, if you see the sleep pattern by the spirituality or by the doctors will say, the morning 4 o'clock is the best time to study, get up and study. Whereas they all have been taught, no, you all, sit up to 2 o'clock and then sleep. That means you are totally, see, just one of the key. In fact, if anyone of you listen to the Brahma Kumari's lectures, okay, I happened to be in their ashram in the month of January with one of my cadets. They literally explained out, that 4 o'clock, and whereas we, over a period of time, we have trained these kids just to be awake, sit at 2 o'clock, they struggle to wake up, put on the nimbu pani, I don't know what all things they drink to just awake, whereas just changing the timing, it helps. So this is just that the overall training, and where been the National Cadet Corps, in fact, it's a courtesy of one of my cadets who I could come here, wherein I didn't know this program.
He partially says the teacher has to be a very good inspirer.
Okay.
They explain things in such a way that the student needs to understand why he is teaching and what he is doing.
The other one is, you said about the corporate. In fact, nowadays everyone use the word corporate, whether the dressing or the habit, things like that. In fact, if you see this have been practiced by the military personnel hundreds of years back. Be it, the haircut, be it the dressing, be it the shoe polishing. In fact, we all have got kicks on our back because we didn't know how to polish well, or we didn't know how to eat. In fact, while in my college, in the Air Force Technical College, that means after the BTech from the NIT Calicut, we were put to starve one of the lunch because we didn't know how to eat well. Even after the first telling, we didn't do it well. We made cutlery noises with knife and fork. The whole batch was given starved, no lunch for you. Yes, they gave us water. They gave us a lot of water. Yes, we drank water till the night. And in this intervening time, we all have learned, and that day night, roughly about 100 odd officers, they're all commissioned officers with a lot of pay and a lot of things. They were put to staff. We all learned in one night the whole mess etiquettes. Yes, that time we used to crib, we used to complain. And today, in fact, I don't see knife and fork, I can't eat. If I don't see knife and fork, because that fear or that particular, grooming was there. And I'm in the right sense, of course. It's not that in the wrong sense. In fact, in the Taramani guest house, when I eat, a lot of people have a look at it. Hey, what is this man doing with his knife and fork? So it's all the way you brought up. And for all this corporate training and all what you talk about, it is already being practiced by our own defense forces, be it Indian Air Force, be it Army, be it Navy, be it CISF, whatnot. Thank you. In fact, thanks to, I think he's the person who has been, got me to this lecture. I came more than to learn, to see that how many of my cadets are here. No, thank you.
That's a very honest confession.
Hello, ma'am. Thank you for the wonderful lecture. It's as though more than your experience as a trainer, you have presented your experience throughout your life in a nutshell. Nevertheless, I'm sure many of us are in kind of a high, but as human tendency, human nature, this high is going to come down, and most of the facts that has been presented as the human memory goes will kind of come down. And even though it's desirable, it's not possible to have you as a teacher for us on a day-to-day basis to kind of motivate us and, So what is it that, maybe one or two things which you can leave with us before you leave this hall so that we can...
do to sustain this?
If not everything, but at least one or two most important things that we should all keep to our hearts. Many people are taking notes, and I don't know whether everything is kind of possible to practice, but one or two most key things which you can before you leave this hall. Yeah.
One thing which people have done like this after lectures is each day you have a presentation of thought for the day and share 5 minutes. It's called Thoughts on a Rocking Chair or boomerang thoughts, something like that. They give a title and they take any one thought. Today if you say discipline, somebody has to come and talk about it, either from a newspaper cutting or a movie that they saw or their own experiences or whatever they felt was bad, and then throw it open for discussion for 10 minutes and then say, okay, is it good? Is it bad? For those people it has been bad, how can it be converted to a good? This is one exercise you can do. Every day for 5 to 10 minutes in your day-to-day classroom, you need to have a thought for discussion. This is one way you can do it. 3, have a buddy concept, which is now very, very missing. In your classes, there are some people who have more this initiative and who have a lot of enthusiasm more than others who need to be goaded this thing. So I have a buddy concept of choosing one leader per month who is responsible for making a presentation on a very relevant, one value-based topic, one movie or one newspaper, IPL, the craze or something like that. Yes, yeah.
There are many research scholars also here. So the classroom concept really doesn't
help.
Everybody is not really entitled to a classroom.
Can you use this Vivekananda study circle as a forum to do certain things?
We among ourselves try to do this, if you call it a buddy concept, and that is what we have, to come together and to study and to understand towards the way towards self-improvement, having spiritual orientation also in mind, and to develop and bring our character.
The problem is, what do individual research scholars who are separated by space and timing and nature of work, how do they come to? You don't have any kind of a commonality there. Forum
But
there,
if
you don't have? I think team learning and sharing is the best way to practice what I said. You learn a lot through observation, through listening. An individual motivation to go to the net. Today I had Vivekananda very nicely, religiously. I went to the net, looked at Vivekananda's quotes, looked at his background, not because I want to deliver. I wanted to know, sometimes when you read such things, it validates what you are already doing. And Vivekananda was ahead and told me all these things. I'm doing it without reading Vivekananda. It gives you a sense of pride in what you're doing. So it sort of validated my feelings. That's why I read the book. Not to impress you with quotations from Vivekananda. I think if that self-motivation, you're already a research scholar, if the self-motivation is there, maybe you should send a mailer to find known people about what you have shared. I saw lots of letters from Donna, this and that. I went inside and looked at all the newsletters that your site had and all that. Just to know what is the networking that is going on. So that could be a network. Why don't you attend some lectures? I mean, as individual, you can go and sharpen your wit. Or go and offer your services to a school, a poor school, where you just take one concept of how to prepare for a marathon. Even simple things you have to a corporation school, or what is teamwork. As IITs, you all have an aura of excellence. Tell them what is IIT to many students. Sometimes I think you all should make journeys to all these colleges and say, what makes an IIT student different from another average student? In terms of you, in terms of the facilities, in terms of the ambience. I wish you all could go. You are all trainers. You should all become trainers in your own self. I am dying to do workshops with you. I am waiting for somebody to call me. Because I like to be challenged. Whenever I say I'll do an IIT program, I prepare more. I don't know why. So this is a psychological expectation that I put on myself. They will ask me questions. So, and the teacher in you comes up, how can you say you don't know? You have to get an answer. This compulsion to give an answer, whether it's good or bad, I don't know, but it's always there in you. So I love to be challenged. So why don't you go and challenge? That may be one method of education. Can anybody else have any other such? It is as a research scholar, we don't have a forum whereby we could have this buddy concept or have thought for the day or maintain a blackboard or do something. What do you think?
Ma'am?
They will not have that type of time to go around with the group and do the thing. Because I've got a very peculiar timing, whether at night or during the college. But however, I think this campus has got, if you just walk across any place, be it in the morning, walk, or if you see in this campus, there are a number of lectures, a number of activities, workshops, things like that.
Because I don't want to be all the time in the receiving end. I want to practice.
Yeah. See, there's in fact, the social service schemes, National Service Scheme, NSS or the NCC, they all advocate this. And as you rightly said, in the PhD it has not been instituted. This particular word. You can always volunteer up and go. We can give you a number of...
Vijayanthi, girls' school and all that. If you thought and say, I volunteer for a lecture, I do a 10 minutes on a class on what. I mean, I can see boys, when I go and talk, they look at me as an auntie. This auntie who has worked in different places, but when a youngster comes, it's more relatable. So I always believe, that once I do a class, I must also take a young role model who has had. I'm fascinated with people like, say, this Ahmed Kumar, Narayanan in Madurai, who wanted to go abroad but then saw that poverty. Every day he caters to thousands of people. If he finds somebody, nobody told him to do that. It was a drive. At some point of time, I feel, your intuition, once you discover your passion, I feel you have still not come to that level. That's it. Once you discover your passion, your intuition starts guiding you. That's what you need to do, how to find a way to transfer your passion into a practice. But till such time, you are always looking for external props. And Vijayanthi is like a temporary bridge who says, yes, there is in you, but come out of it. For me now, my passion is nobody should tell, but I like sharing what I have with others. This is something which I do. Either some people pay me quite a bit, some people don't pay me, but still my passion continues.
I think I can always, if anyone of you who have got a similar thoughts, we can always give certain projects.
You want to say something? Both three of you.
Actually, same thing, madam. It's just you told. Like, first we have to identify what our passion is. Till that time, we have to struggle a lot. Because for simple material gains, we struggle a lot. Say, to get a good grade in exam, struggle a lot. For human excellence, how much you have to struggle? It's much more harder. So, till you get that trigger where you can simply close the fluency you get it, till that point of time, you have to struggle. Maybe you can make a 10-minute reading every morning, you make a reading. Till that time, you have to struggle.
You won't ask me a question then. Because his passion has become his intuition. His intuition will tell him, do this, do this, do this. Now you are in a, if I want to sound very jargonish, I'll say you are in a circle of concern. You are not in a circle of influence. You want to impress managers and topics. They say, class well attended. Madam has studied very well. This is how their expectation is. Madam has talked from the circle of concern and circle of influence. I think you will talk to the circle of influence once you identify what exactly. Now what we are doing are simple reminders for you. There are many roads that have not been travelled. Take it up. If you think that's your road. And for which an effort can be degree of efforts only there. Some of it simply if you write down and maintain a personal diary, personal jottings. Write down all that has happened to you. That's the first step towards excellence or success. Write down what you feel. What you want to do, where you can go, what upset you, what you observed in something, a good movie, a good, when you see a good movie, you feel so touched and moved, you immediately feel like sharing it with someone. If you don't have anybody to share, at least you write down, this is what happened. And a good sad thought. We say when we are sad, we need more people to be with us. That feeling. Maybe they don't want us to talk with them. The feeling that they are there with you is the thing. So write down. Pen all your thoughts.
That was the intention of my question. Because most of the time we have beautiful lectures here. Like there was somebody who demonstrated his memory skills from 2 months back and he went out. But people were amazed, but once we are out of the hall, and it was everything went up in there. Possibly with one skill of writing.
Write down. Immediately. You don't have to be a writer. Whatever you feelings, personal jottings, keep a notebook. It really helps you. I am a person, I used to do that. Now I feel every experience for me is a learning interaction. I take it back. Somewhere I say, God, fortunately I have very good memory. Somewhere it is stored in some corner. like to in my mind, and then I know how to recall. Somebody told me that Vijayanthi following the 4 principles. Remember, retain, recall, respond. Wow, that's a principle, they didn't know that. They were unconsciously practicing it. They said, these are the 4 principles, and I teach you technically how to do it. Technicality comes now that actually the method becomes less important than what you have. The process at the end becomes more important.
Actually, Swamiji says that it was actually for excellence. Take up one idea.
Yesterday was thought of the day, I saw in your eyes that science. I saw that.
The one more what he says is, if you sincerely or truly wish something to happen, the whole universe will conspire to give you that. So it's the sincerity of your wish that is important.
100%.
If you are really sincere, that wish is sincere, it will happen automatically.
And some forces I'm not able to explain why it happens in life. It's very strange. Sometimes I see a building and I see some people. You don't laugh at me, this will really happen. I say I want to do training program. This is the first thought. Somehow I like the faces of it. You won't believe, maybe after 8 years, I have some contact and I go. And there are buildings, you never did a program where you never did. But I would have found there's a lot of negativity. Sometimes I feel I'm destined to deal with good people and good forces. We don't know, this is not some occult power or something. I think it is your own wishing. You end up meeting good people, talented, good in terms of what I define as good. And I find that I end up working only with it. And I'm very happy with that experience that goes in. So the wish factor. And for this, I think you be sincere about it. You were wanting to ask that. Because that's difficult, that's what you say. Because our timings are very erratic and different.
Whole institute, all the students will come there within those 2 hours. So at least we can pick some group of people who...
There is a dynamism of personality. Many thoughts are there, but you don't know how to go about it. Some people want to do a lot of it, but they don't know how to go about it. That is why we have 2 leaders and lots of followers.
Yes.
We don't have lots of leaders, no? That is why Swamiji is prompted to say very better leaders are born. Which we may debate and say that leaders also develop. Yes, you already said.
You said something about building up relationships and knowing
what to do. I mean, a lot of this actually depends on your instincts and your instincts, how you see the world. This all comes to define, over time, how many relationships you have built up, what kind of life you are living. Once you become aware of yourself, it is kind of, difficult fighting, going against your own instincts. Where is it that you make a difference between this negative feedback loop of fighting against your instincts, going down, again trying to fight? Where is the difference made?
Instinct, I don't know what to mean. I'm a little worried about that word. Relationships are developed. The second thing is do with the feelings. The feelings that you develop can be, I feel, should not be extreme. See, feeling that there is some good rationality and you know that we are talking. Killing somebody else is irrational. But wearing a bindi is non-rational. Yes or no?
Yes.
So, what lesser good, greater good, lesser evil, greater evil, harm, harmony, larger gain, shorter gain, these are issues that are in relationships. When you want to be friendly because you have to get something done, it's not wrong. But when you destroy the process, and you don't allow him to grow, only then it becomes, that relationship becomes a bad relationship. So it has to be defined in the context, and it has to be more than instincts. It is the feelings you have nurtured right from the child. The way your mother treated her, the way your husband and wife had a relationship. There are a lot of things you learn from. Respecting people. Knowing when diplomacy is not the same. Diplomacy is also a kind of relationship. Not knowing when to talk. So I won't call it instincts. Because instincts is something that you're born with. But relationship is something that you develop. I don't know if I've answered the question. But looking at the problem from your perspective, I don't need to answer because some people have the instincts.
Some people always have a tendency to do things that are always wrong for them. You see them, even they know this. They see them doing the wrong stuff. They're like, there is half part of them watching them from outside their body saying, dude, what are you doing? Why are you again, causing harm to yourself? But at that same time,
Very important person. Because get out of this whole situation, I wish we are all like that. That is emotional intelligence. Looking, you would remember a very sad event in your life today when you are able to narrate it. You don't have the same intense feelings that you had. That is where emotional intelligence comes. This guy is able to come out of his personality immediately. Array, you are doing stupid things, better stop doing. But he continues to do for an heck of it, or get a kick out of it, or because he wants to be a hero. There's intention to do purpose to do it. Why is he doing it? Why does he not change? Why? Habit changes. It becomes a habit.
exactly.
Habit and conditioning both processes, and also you are asking what you want. You want attention, or you want to be known in the thing, or you want a natural, destructive process. You don't know why. Some people pretend to be what they are actually not. Certain things are natural, it comes naturally to people. I feel all people can't become trainers, my dear. You should have a basic liking for people. Catch them doing right. You should not catch them doing wrong. This is an attitude to find. There should be a warmth in your personality. When did the warmth come? Apart from what I was ignored with, I should like to do, it also comes from the environment. Hopes or appreciation we got. Which behavior was given appreciation, which behavior was discouraged. There are very nice people and welcome people, and everybody said, Abasi, what a pleasant child she is. She's so warm to people, that's her behavior. You're going to be sick in very good society. I really don't. Very complicated issues where what works for one does not work for the other. You come to the law of average. So no, you did 50 times this, 80 times this, what he says. 40 times, it becomes a habit, and a habit is not disturbing anybody else, okay. If it is disturbing somebody else, then you need to change. Because when you go to a corporate, you are paid for your time. You can't say, I give myself. You can't go with a rubber chappal and a Dona bag and one, one some Buddha and some walk about that thing, you keep talking. You can't do that because you know that you put into a particular scenario. So you are able to change. The mind is a wonderful mechanism.
I'm sorry, we have time constraint. Last question.
Like I am inspired by that fellow that Tare Saluja. He fellow did a wonderful thing. He owned that, one body and this thing. He made one mechanical model which went. Nobody taught him this life, and he was a slow learner. Somewhere I feel that encouraging people to be different is one aspect of and some student says, can I explain the same principle with an example? Encouraging. How many teachers encourage students to come forward and come? Don't disturb it, let me finish this formula later we have a
But as teachers, students never come forward, so it's really rare.
So how did, so 50% of the problem is with them, 50% is the problem. You have not been inspiring enough to allow diversity in the class, to allow encouragement. So you have not been interesting, or sometimes the students see what he teaches is available in the textbook, why don't they expect that in the class? It's possible. A teacher who is very passionate in it, I listen to the person who listen to the lecture, still the head of the department. He came to a school and so beautifully explaining to me what is engineering. I've never looked at engineering side. He took some models, and he just said, how you make this? Come on, what are the components? His way of approach it was very, very different. When you try to be different, in whatever your own education is there. Some of us can't, for example, come to the idea. Some people dare to experiment. I think if you could do that, if you could find out in your class people who are little geniuses, people who have an ability to challenge, already thinking differently, keep that all recorded somewhere and use it in the next year. You will have possibilities. That's what teachers also learn from students. I'm sure you have some teachers who give you a lot of challenges. make it compulsory for them to demonstrate a physical concept of class. They have to make either a small waterproof garden, or they have to make a presentation to the kids, or they will jumble a word. What is followed in English class? If you could follow something, this is your technical class, jumbling of words, formation of words, quizzes, and then maths, not mathematics, what is that? Thesaurus, dictionary. People say that what are all the similar concepts? Thesaurus tells you that what are the synonyms, similar paper means the same word. You encourage something like that. But what is taught in English management activities can be also, I think, ideas can inspire. I will have very good knowledge of the technical aspect of how much it benefits you. But encouraging the different approach itself is one requirement.
This evening has become blessed with an inspiring talk by Happy Homemaker. And thank you, ma'am, for reminding us a fighter with attitude always win the race or always win. Those who want to share his experience and his thought, they are always welcome to Vivekananda Study Circle. I have been in Vivekananda Study Circle for 3 years, and I have realized that it is one of the best platform. You can always come. It's open for all. You all know. Now, I request our volunteer Ganesh to present memento as a token of gratitude. Now I request Gauraji to present a small gift.
Oh, I go back with you.
Now I would like to invite our coordinator Mayurji for vote and thanks.
Good evening all. It has been a really wonderful evening, ma'am, and thanks for all the inspiring words. I'm sure you want to share more and we want to learn more from you. So hopefully sometime next semester or something we can have a workshop or something. So on behalf of VSC, I extend my heartfelt thanks to you for taking your time and coming and sharing your experiences and thoughts with us. I also thank the Dean's Office for providing us support, the Media Resource Center for providing us the venue, and the Center for Continuing Education for providing the video coverage of this function. And most importantly, I thank our wonderful audience who took part in this interactive session, who shared their thoughts and experiences, and the sincere query which we all learned, and that has made this evening a really wonderful one. Thank you all. Thank you.